Hello, hello, you guys. Hi, Ben.
He's
It's
muted.
Michelle. Oh, I know he's muted, but you are muted, Ben. I could always unmute Ben if you want to say hi.
Sure, as long we're
Hi.
gonna
There.
edit this.
Oh,
Hi, Ben.
I'm back. Hey, hey, good afternoon.
I'm
And
glad to see
hello,
you on.
Uli.
Let
Welcome.
me. I'm gonna unmute Uli and the other Uli.
There are
Say
two Ulis. Hey.
yes.
Hey, Uli. Thank you guys for coming today. We'll
So we
just,
just, yeah,
hmm?
we're giving. This is kind of the 5-minute warning. Is it 5 minutes till? I don't even have my
2
phone up.
minutes.
It is
3
actually a
Three
couple
till.
minutes. Yeah.
Just
minutes.
to just to say hey, I will I'll be putting everybody back on mute at the top of the hour when we start.
Okay.
Very good. And then we will have this available afterwards, Michelle, as a recording.
Yes, will do.
Yes, indeedy.
And I see Claire, who may or may not have her audio on yet.
Yay, Claire.
She's still working on the audio. Now, Megan, often if people are having trouble with audio, you can tell them that it could be their headset, to pull it out, put it back in, make sure the volume is up before before rebooting. I mean, before coming back in. That sometimes is happens.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put
Awesome.
you back on mute, Uli, and Ben, I also will put you back on mute. All right.
Fantastic. I would like to go ahead, maybe give it a couple of minutes, Michelle, and then
Yeah,
we'll get started.
sure will.
We see a lot of folks coming. Welcome. Thank you, Crystal. Welcome. All right, we see people coming on, which is wonderful. We're going to give it just a minute or two more. It's right at top of the hour here, noon, and we see people coming on board here, and welcome. Fantastic. Happy Friday, everyone. All right. Welcome, 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 Christina and Michael. Wonderful. People are jumping on.
I sometimes forget I have my webcam on and I should smile. I've just been kind of like, I know,
So,
because we never do webcams, but this is good.
yeah. All right, folks, thank you for your patience. We're waiting for a few more people to join us here. It's about 12:01. We'll get started in about a minute. Great to see everybody. Great to see everyone. So we're excited. Perfect. Perfect. Welcome, everyone. We're just giving it one more second, and we will go ahead and get started with our program today. So, Michelle, what do you think? You almost ready?
I'm ready.
All right. All right. Well, let's get started then. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We're excited to bring you our webinar, Transition from Classroom Training to Virtual Learning with DIY Templates. Welcome, I'm Lori Bakopoulos with Cobblestone Consulting, and today I'm excited to have my co-host, Michelle Shane, our lead instructional designer, who will be walking us through this exciting webinar today. We also have Megan Huffman, our associate, that's helping us answer any technical questions and also helping us with any Q&A panel. So thank you guys so much. I wanted to give you a little background. Cobblestone Consulting, we've been around for 19 years helping customers really innovate and collaborate and deliver various solutions around training. And over the last couple of years, we've been really helping our customers take a lot of their classroom training and putting it into virtual learning. And the process is a methodology that we follow, and we thought, wouldn't it be nice to share with everyone how you can actually take a tool that you have in your toolbox called PowerPoint and actually organize it and design it so that you can have a really nice e-learning in your organization. So a lot of folks can actually do this themselves, and with a little bit of our help and our templates, you can get a lot of this content online. And I just want to let you know that this is a stepping stone to organize and e-learning in a learning management system. So this is a start to get you started on how to do this. So without further ado, I'd like to hand the webinar over to Michelle Shane. Thank you for walking through the webinar with us.
Okay, well, hello there, everybody. Nice to see many of you guys again. Many of you guys I know. And I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Make sure I'm going to go ahead and get started by telling you guys what we're going to be talking about in today's webinar. We'll be reviewing some of the business trends that we are seeing in e-learning these days. We're going to talk about what a training template is. We're going to be demoing the use of the templates. So we'll have a nice demo that we'll walk through here. It's not all going to be PowerPoint slides. We're going to be discussing the training benefits, the benefits of templates, how they benefit your organization, and then lastly, how we can help, and then we'll be taking your questions at the end. So the first thing we're going to do is launch a little poll here to get to know you guys a little bit better. And the first question we have here is, are you considering transitioning your classroom-based training to e-learning within the next couple of years? And we're waiting for some of the responses to come in. Go ahead and vote on the poll. We've got we'll leave that up for about 5 more seconds and see what our audience has to say about that. All right. Are you going to be transitioning any of your live training to e-learning in the future? All right, I'm going to close the poll and share the results. And it looks like all of you are planning on doing that. That may explain why you're here today. So that's definitely a good thing to see. And then one other question, just so that we can get to know you guys better. What are your most immediate I'll let you read this, Lori.
Yeah, what are your most immediate virtual training needs? Are you all looking
Thank you.
to transform some of your human resource initiatives, technology, sales, operations, or anything else? What is your biggest need in the organization where if you had some virtual learning, it would help you have a repeatable process and move to your strategic goals? So that's what that one is all about.
All
We look
righty.
forward to hearing your feedback on that.
Okay, just 5 more seconds to vote. That's not really a vote, but okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm going to close the poll and share the results with you. Okay.
Now, Michelle, maybe we can take off our video so the poll would come up a little bit larger for everyone.
That's a good idea. I'm not sharing my webcam any longer.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to let you know if you're not seeing the results. What I'm seeing is 33% of the group is in operation. Well, actually, let's start at the top. 83% sales. Wow. 33% operations. 17% split between technology and other.
Yeah, and 0 for human resources at the moment. That's great. Great feedback, you guys.
All right. So you should see my screen again, right, Lori?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to let Lori talk a little bit about the business trends that we've been seeing in e-learning before we start the demo.
Yeah, so you all had some great responses, and we're seeing that in the industry as well. So we're finding that 77% of American corporations are using online learning, and a lot of that is to make sure that they can easily track learning in the organization, so you can understand how many folks have taken the training that you need them to take to be competent in their jobs. And then another great reason for that is if you want folks to go ahead and do some pre-training before you have them move into a more advanced course. So that really helps with time savings in the organization. And then we found that 51% of the companies that were using e-learning at least delivered one session. So that's a big trend, as well as 80% of the employees are using e-learning courses. So instead of taking just a course here and a course there, like in sales, instead they're putting together learning paths. So you want sales 101, so make sure people have that under their belt before they take on 201 sales. So that that type of activity is very, very popular now, so that you can get your employees and associates certified, so that you know that they have the competency in their job. So the trends are increasing more and more by the day. So that's just a little background as we're moving in this direction.
All
Thank you,
right.
Michelle.
Excellent. All right. So why do we recommend getting started with your e-learning by using PowerPoint? We're not talking about the traditional PowerPoint template, though. It's far from it. We use templates that are actually built in PowerPoint, but they're specific to e-learning, specific to the flow of best practices and the e-learning methodologies, which we'll talk about. So why pay for expensive course authoring software? You know, some of them are very, very expensive when you can leverage what's already in your toolbox. And it's just going to be a jump start to your e-learning development. Now, these PowerPoint slides that we'll show you, then these videos that are created from them, the e-learning videos, they can be directly imported right into tools like Camtasia, Captivate, Storyline, which you've probably all heard of. If you want to add some quizzing, more interactivity, but most of your courses won't need that. They can go directly out of these PowerPoint templates. Now, as you guys know, PowerPoint's got a wide variety of templates available to choose from, but these templates are designed for business presentations. They are not effective for e-learning, and that is the secret sauce we're going to be talking to you guys about today. All right, now you may be used to seeing a familiar look of a PowerPoint template when you've been sitting in instructor-led training. And we will be showing you, your typical training template and how we transform it in just a few minutes. nearly all instructors are going to use some of these traditional looking templates when they're delivering their live instruction, and most companies have standard templates for the employees to use when they're delivering presentations. So why would you choose to create your e-learning not using one of these templates that you're used to seeing? Because, as I mentioned, they do not have the e-learning elements baked in. They're just not e-learning templates, and you will see the difference. Um, as you know, the reality during training development, it often means that we're very pressed for time. When we really want to help a client streamline a training project and make sure it's consistent and it gets out there fast, we always start with one of these templates because it speeds up the development and helps support your visual aesthetics, your branding. Now, instead of spending time and resources on the e-learning design, if you use a pre-built template, which has already got the design using instructional best practices with the learner experience in mind, it'll go much faster. These ready-to-go templates, they help you start authoring more quickly, and you can get your courses out to your students quickly. A rhetorical question I might just throw out is, how many of you guys, when you're ready, need the training, you need it fast? You can't wait months, right, for a company to get that training out. So, and usually that comes at the end of developing everything, like an application. The next thing is get that training right away. All right, so there are several instructional design theories that have evolved based on years of studying how the adults learn, and these e-learning templates follow these practices. This Gagne's 9 events, you probably have never heard of Gagne before, but if you went and got an instructional design degree or you got a certification, he's all over it. He's one of the most preeminent e-learning practitioners. He may not be around anymore, but anyways, we all instructional designers use Gagne's 9 events to help the flow of their e-learning because it provides a step-by-step approach that helps managers, trainers, and facilitators structure their training. That way the student gets the most from the e-learning. It's based on adult learning research, and it's also used in most universities and the major instructional designers that I know of. So I'm gonna just share with you briefly what are these 9 events. So if nothing else, take this away from what I'm saying to you guys today. Use these 9 events in your training. You will have a much better flow, and it'll be much more helpful for the learner to actually take away information and put what you've designed into practice. All right, but on our templates, these are already baked in, and they are in there for you. So what Gagne says is the first thing you need to do in a course is gain the attention of the learner. You want to start out with something very impactful, motivational, interesting statistics, something about your company. If you don't do, if you make mistakes, this is what can happen, things like that. Then you inform the learner of the objectives or the goal of the training to set their expectations. Then what's called stimulate recall of prior learning. That means you go back and you refresh their memory a little as to what they may already know, that they can kind of hook on to what you were teaching them now. And if it's like the second part of a training program, you can talk a little bit about what was in the earlier part of it, just to stimulate that recall. You present the content so that the audience understands why the information is important, and with some case studies and scenarios and all that. And then you do what's called provide learning guidance, which what this means is examples, relevant scenarios, mnemonics for aiding their memory, and calling their attention to also what's most important on the screen, using, say, arrows, highlights, pop-ups, and putting emphasis on what they need to pay attention to. The sixth one is Elicit performance, which is practicing what they've learned, which, can be a quiz, or if you're in a classroom, it's, going to be hopefully some kind of hands-on. Give them feedback on what they did and correct it until they've got it right. And then assess their performance in some way. A lot of people think of final exams for that, but there's a lot of different ways to assess performance for their competence and maybe to get some sort of certification. And then lastly, Gagne says, enhance retention and transfer to the job. Now that can be, it can be a lot of different things. It could be a series of micro videos, perhaps, that comes after the e-learning course that maybe pop up on a daily basis to refresh them. It might be something that they print out, like a cheat sheet of the steps for something. It might be that they go to a website afterwards, and there's some documentation they need to read. So those are the 9 events of instruction. All right, now I'm going to dispense with the PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to go into a demo. I'm going to show you at a fairly high level how to use these e-learning templates. We're going to be covering how to change them to reflect your company branding, how to add your script to them, and how to record it right out of PowerPoint, and then how to publish the course to be used by others in your organization. So let me do an escape out of here, and I'm going to start by showing you the introduction template. So most courses have an introduction, and then they have, say, several modules or lessons. Everybody's got different words that they use to describe them. If you looking at it at first glance, you will say, oh, that's not my company colors. Oh, we wouldn't use a dark picture like that. Oh, look at the gray. Oh, that's not our font. That's not our instructor. That's okay. All these things are really easy to swap out. Now, when you see the notes underneath here in every slide, it tells you what event of Gagne this slide is meant for. And here are some ideas for example, I've got a link here, how to get some ideas of what types of things you can put that will work with those slides. Okay, so as we go through here, I'm just going to show you what it looks like, say, in slideshow mode. I want you to see that it's got animation already baked in here, so you don't have to learn how to do that. You don't have to learn how to put transitions in. This is just like the placeholder stuff. And this is a fairly quick here. The goal of the course, which is, another of Gagne's 9 events. We've got some icons that you can swap out to act as your menu. Okay, and that would be a template you could use for the course introduction. And for the course lesson, you may have multiple lessons that you have in a course. These also follow the best practices of Gagne. And again, underneath here, you can see what each slide is for and what you can replace it with. So as I go through this one in slideshow mode.
And Michelle, this is
Have a
Lori. Can I
little,
ask you a quick question?
yes.
So the great thing about these is that, again, the information is there to guide you through how to build your course, but would folks always use an introduction template as well as a course template? Is that typically what we're
As well as a
recommending?
lesson template?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, if you're building a course that has multiple lessons or modules, I usually recommend that we have some sort of an introduction to the course itself. So in the introduction, it could explain that this course is made up of a certain amount of modules, and this is what the goal of this course is, and some housekeeping for this course, and then what lessons or modules are included in this course. It might also introduce the instructor,
Mhm.
and motivate the student. Why are we learning this? Why should we care about this information? And then they would have links to the different lessons. So I'm using these terms of modules, lessons, topics. Every company is different, but each lesson also follows the best practices of learning, e-learning as well.
Perfect.
So
Thank you.
sure. So here you have um, the title of the lesson introduction. Uh, this could be where you introduce, say, the instructor, or if you hadn't done it earlier. You don't always have to have this slide. And then we go and talk about the goals and objectives of the course. Now, what these are just layouts for a variety of different images and text that you might have. Okay, so you have a couple images, you have a little content. They're highly um, geared towards looking like a video and not like a PowerPoint. We've seen a lot of training out there that really looks like PowerPoint, and that's not what we want in e-learning. We want it to look much more like you're watching a video. So we're going with less text, more slides, less text, more animation, for example. All right, so we want to, this is another optional layout. If you must have bullet points, then this is where they would be, and this is one way to show bullet points. And I'll show you another in just a second. We love our full screen, full bleed images because it's much more impactful. Another content layout is our smart art, and I prefer using smart art for bullet points if I do have them, because I can click on this, I can put the information in each bullet. I mean, in each one of these smart art shapes, and at a drop of a hat, I can change the smart art shape to reflect a process or a diagram or anything I want, and it keeps the text. So I just love that about smart art. This is an empty monitor screen that could hold, for example, a company video that you might want to share with people. And I just went ahead and I threw the cobblestone, one of our videos that we have created. This is actually the intro to e-learning. You can't hear it through this webinar right now, but you will hear one later on. The next, oops, let me move on from this particular one. Okay, you can have scenarios. That's really good when you're presenting case studies or say best practices. You can give people a scenario, give them some optional choices. If it's not going to be an interactive presentation, it may be just something that they need to think about. Tell them to pause the video, excuse me, think about what their answer would be, and then in the next couple of screens, you would include why this particular choice is good, but maybe not the best possible choice that they could have chosen, why this one is better, you know. Uh, so
And so
I'm sorry, go ahead, Lori.
And so, Michelle, this is, and everyone on the call, this is one of the differentiators with PowerPoint versus some of our more advanced e-learning offerings, and that is with PowerPoint, you can show the scenarios like Michelle is doing here, but you can only ask the participant or the student to pause and think about what the best answers might be, and that's when you present, the possible answers following the scenario. However, if you have built this as your first step to e-learning into a learning management system, the scenario, you would already have the scenarios, and putting it into a Camtasia or articulate e-learning tool will allow for the student to actually click on the proper answer and give the feedback that they need to actually have that feedback that's also in the Gagne 9 event. So this is just one of the little differences between the PowerPoint and the more advanced tools, but I just wanted to point that out here, that you could still at least pose the questions to the students so they can start thinking about the information that they're learning.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Lori. And many of you guys are familiar with Storyline or Camtasia or Captivate. Those do have the advanced features, which allows hotspots where you can actually click on things and things will pop up. Now, this is not the summary to our presentation today. This is the summary slide in the template. So we want to make sure that we summarize the main points of what the student has learned. It helps in their retention. And then lastly, Gagne's final event is called retention and transfer, which is, it helps the learner retain the learning and then, transfer it onto their workplace. This could be linking to a page with some refresher videos, some micro videos. It may be a blended learning situation where from after this course, they actually go in and say, demonstrate in a classroom with other students that they know how to put on their PPE equipment, for example, after having watched the video. There could be something they need to do, such as printing out a cheat sheet or referring them to additional documentation that they can go to when they're actually back in their job site and have to work with whatever it is that you taught them in the course. And then here, sometimes we have some additional resources to which they may have access. Could be contact you for additional questions, a Facebook group they can go to interact with the other learners, all kinds of additional resources there. And then we have our congratulations. Now, if you are thinking about getting a learning management system, you'd want to talk to Lori about that, but it can also it can show you that the student has completed and gone through the entire course. So you would give them a course completion certificate. All right, so I want to show you now, Lori, many years ago, taught a live course on project management. Remember that, Lori? And
Barely,
these
yeah.
are her slides. These are her slides from that class. Now, they were created in a very typical PowerPoint template, which is, heavy on the text. There's no actual animation, no moving parts. They were great for Lori to stand up in front of the students because they could watch, they could see her. Their focus was on her, and the slides were the backdrop, and they, it emphasized and helped keep Lori on track as to what she was going to say. These are not something that you would want to put in, make into a video and have this be your e-learning, but I see this all the time. I see people just take their existing PowerPoint and boom, make it into an e-learning course, and it's, it's kind of boring for the learner to look after bullet point after bullet point after bullet point, and nothing really holds their attention. So what we did is we took this course, and I didn't do the whole thing, but I did the introduction part of it, and we used our e-learning template. And all I did, and I'll show you in a second, all I did was swap out the branding that from the original template, and I swapped out the fonts, the colors, the images, to go with Lori's content. And this is the way, well, actually, I'm going to wait just a second. I'm going to show you how it looks after I show you for just a couple of minutes how I actually did this. Okay, so you see, start out here with the template. Okay, it's got the wrong colors and everything in it. And what you do is you want to change the branding. You would start out with that. So you go to View and you go to Slide Master. And here, and for those of you guys who want a few takeaways from this, who may not know PowerPoint as well as you wish you did, I'm going to show you some things that you can even just take away from this presentation and do yourself, regardless of whether you, or regardless of whether or not you end up using templates. But you just go into the colors, and you see here I've got the cobblestone palette already in here. It was just a matter of going into customized colors and changing these accent colors. We rarely use the bottom ones here, just the first 3 or 4 to your branding. If you click on it, and I'm not going to go into exactly how everything is done, but you put your codes. Your marketing departments will have all the codes there, and you just do it for the first 3, and then when you save it with the company branding name, the name of your company, I mean. You save it, and then you have that. So as you can see, I made one for cobblestone, and then it turned into, that's the first thing, and it turned into all of Lori's colors. Okay, so that is her after. Get so many PowerPoint templates here. You open, you guys. Okay, all right. So now getting back to the after one. The second thing I did is I changed the fonts, and while I was in there, it probably would have been faster just to show you. It's in the same place. The fonts here, Lori's got her own special fonts, and you just click on customize fonts, and you change it to whatever your heading and your body font is, and name it to the name of your company. All right, now when you get out of master view, okay, let's just say you didn't want to start with, say, this image. This is Lori's image. The template starts with this image. Okay, it's just a matter of clicking on the image itself, clicking and just right clicking and choosing change picture, and then find the picture that you want to use and then put it in there, and then that swaps out the picture. So you are going through the slides, our template, and one by one changing the pictures out, but what you're getting is the flow is still staying in there. The flow and all of the Gagne stuff would be down in the notes, so you'll know exactly what should go on every single slide. It won't be a question, what should I do now? What should I share next? What's the best practice for, should I be sharing this before I share that? What about which template? I mean, which layout is going to be best for this? Well, we tell you all that. So it becomes kind of a no-brainer. Now, as far as the script goes, okay, it was just a matter of going in to the before script and kind of massaging a little bit of the stuff that she's got in there, because these were just really notes she had. These were not a natural language script that a narrator would read. So that is what you need when you go into doing your e-learning. You need to write the way you speak. So for example, if I got to the instructor slide, I'm not going to say something like, hello, my name is Michelle Shane, and I'm going to be your instructor. I'm going to write the script like this. Hi, I'm Michelle Shane. I'm going to be your instructor today. I'm going to be your instructor. So you write your script just the way you talk. And that way, when you read the narration, it's casual, it's conversational, it flows really nicely. So although I could use most of the content that was in Lori's live presentation, it does have to be massaged a little bit so that it is much better for a narration. So you're putting your script below every slide in the notes section. Now, that's all well and good, but how does this become a video, you might want to ask? Okay, I will show you. I'm wondering how many of you guys have discovered this in PowerPoint yet, but if you go into slideshow and you go to record slideshow, record from beginning, what popped up on my other monitor, which I am going to drag over here so you can see that too, I put it in what's called presenter mode. And now what I get to see is behind the scenes of what my slides look like. Now you can see me too because it's an option to show your webcam. And so it's whether you want to show it or not, that's certainly up to you. I'm turning the camera off for now so it won't distract you. But if I click on the notes up here at the top, you will see it's kind of like a teleprompter for you. And you can start reading your notes along with every slide. Now, I always go into settings first and make sure that it's selected my microphone. I use a USB AT2020. For those of you guys listening to the recording of this who may want to know the best audio, that's what I like, or a Yeti or a Blue Snowball. And so what I'm going to do is I would hit the record button. I'm not going to go through every slide doing this with you because it's going to be the same for every slide, but you hit the start record button, you read your script, and then you use the forward arrow to advance to the next slide. The notes changed. If you'll notice that, I'm going to read it. It still would be recording. I haven't hit the record button, but you would see the time changing down here. And you have total control of the animations and everything that's coming in. So you would go through it all. If you didn't like the way one slide sounded, for example, you can clear the narration on that slide and re-record it. So it's just much like that. When you're finished, you hit the stop button and you come out with a video. And I did this earlier, actually did this morning, and I am going to play you. It's going to be just the introduction. It's not a whole lesson. I didn't want to spend that much time making you
Michelle,
watch all that. Yeah.
hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's Lori, and
I recognized your voice right
yeah,
away, Lori.
you know, I guess it's just
Habit. It's
a
habit of being on
habit.
calls
Yeah,
with
exactly.
multiple people. Yeah.
Before we went on to show what the end result is going to be, I wanted to just I had a couple of questions here that I wanted to address. And
Okay.
also I wanted folks to know, again, we're not necessarily doing a PowerPoint lesson here. It's really once you get the template with the methodology and you put your branding, then you can see, hopefully you all can see that once you get it set and you get one course under your belt, then you start, having a repeatable process for yourself and your organization. So you'll see how what the drum roll is for the final product. But I wanted to pose, Jane had a pretty good question. Jane asked, do you have any do's or don'ts when it comes to animations and fonts
Well, okay, for
and the amount of
fonts,
text? So I know that's kind of a loaded question, but Michelle, I know you talk to that all the time.
yeah, well, for fonts, generally, if you have a website, you're going to have fonts that you already have as part of your company branding. The only thing I wouldn't do is use a lot of serif fonts in an e-learning video. So if you happen to have we use the sans serif fonts, which is like Arial, for example. They're smooth and they don't have those little kind of curly cues at the end of it. I know Megan knows what I'm talking about. Megan's our tech person in the background here, where she's got a design degree, so she knows all about making pretty slides. But yeah, I would, if you don't have branding already on your business card or a website, then you can go online and go to find some pretty slides that you have seen other people do, and there's a site called What the Font. And if you yeah, if you I know it's funny, if you upload a slide that you like from somebody else, just an image of it, it will tell you what fonts they used. Um, as far as what was the question about animation? Okay,
Animations.
animations. Okay, if you're brand new to PowerPoint and you've never used an animation before, you might want to remove, which is super easy. If you go into animations, you can remove any of the animations you want to. If you're not comfortable having bullet points fade in or something, you just want things to be on the screen already. It's just a matter of going in here and going down here and clicking remove. So
Perfect.
now if you're creating your own power, if you're wanting to make it like super cool, you would probably want to study up on how to add additional animations. I feel like we have just the right amount of animations in our templates, not too many, things don't go crazy, but enough so that things keep moving and the
And
learner
great,
doesn't get bored.
great responses. And then finally, text. She was wondering about the amount of text on slides
As
for
as
e-learning.
little as yeah, as little as possible. What you want is the narration really should carry it. What I try to do is I write the content first, and then I'll pick out just a few words from the content, like here, repeatable PM processes. Don't repeat exactly what you're saying, because if you did that, they could read it themselves. You don't want a verbatim what you're saying. If you have to use bullet points, go ahead and just have a little bit. But I would love to see people try to stick with more images and just little phrases. And you're gonna end up with slides that are much more engaging to look at.
So I think that's a perfect segue into showing everybody, what the end result was with the introduction of project
Oh,
management.
okay, so it's just a minute's worth and it's just the intro, but it does give
Hmm.
you an idea. Okay, so Lori and I will be on mute during this video, but you'll be able to watch it. Okay, and you should be able to hear the sound as soon as I hit play. Welcome to Project Management and Leadership. What are the challenges that you encounter as a project manager? Well, most project managers list the following. The top challenges captured in our previous courses were lack of repeatable process for similar projects, lack of mentor program to enhance leadership skills, and lack of real-time reporting delivering a holistic view of your projects and portfolio. Most project managers have spent a lot of time learning about the tech part of project management, like Gantt charts, spreadsheets, and budgets. But in this course, we'll be focusing on the soft skills that separate a good project manager from a great one. We'll discuss how to establish repeatable processes, how to improve your leadership skills, and how to deal with difficult clients. Greetings, I'm Lori B., and I'll be your guide for Project Management and Leadership 101. Now let's get started. All right. All right, so that was just an intro. I want to make sure you guys can hear me again, Lori.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so that was just the intro to a course, and that took me 15 minutes, I would say, to do using the template. Now, that doesn't mean it only took me 15 minutes, say, or it doesn't mean it's only going to take you 15 minutes to write your scripts, because those usually take a little bit more thought. But as far as getting it into a video that I can now upload to either a learning management system or a website, it was a very quick process. All right, so I'm going to pause for a second, see if there's any questions before I kind of let Lori wrap things up here.
Do we have any quick questions? I think Jane
On
has
the demo.
another question. How do you use, let's see, Laura asked, how do you choose the background music to use? Any suggestions on where to get that?
Yes, as part of our package, as a bonus, we do have some music for you, and also a variety of links to where you can download some free music that you can use. And it's a matter of obviously preference, what music you like. But there's about 15 or so different music tracks that you're going to get
Yeah, great
that I like.
questions.
Uh-huh.
And, back to branding, what we really found here recently is the branding, the marketing, the colors, the logos, and the music, just like the question mentioned, is so important to align end to end with your overall company brand, company style. And so you want to make sure you pick the music that goes with your company culture. And so that's a overall great piece with it as well. So thank you. Thank you for the questions, you guys. Excellent.
All right, so just a couple more slides here, and then we'll show you what we got for you. So, what is the benefit to your organization on this? Well, as I've mentioned, these have the best practices of course design baked right in. You're going to be able to deliver your courses in half the time, maybe less. And because it's rapid course development, you guys, it's a tested framework. It organizes your content. You don't have to think about that. Um, it's the perfect solution when you want to get something new done, or even a course revision out quickly. And of course, with rapid course design comes less hours worked and a major cost savings for your organization. All right, Lori, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you. Well done. Fantastic. And we really appreciate everybody's questions. We hope you learned something new today on, again, it's a stepping stone of how you can take your information, look at it in another way so that you can organize it in a way that folks can consume it easily in your organization. So we hope you were inspired. We wanted to say, yeah, how can we help you? Just getting Kickstart is a great way to start moving your content into virtual learning. And we've got a couple of packages that we're sharing with folks right now. It's sort of a starter package. And the first one is we provide the introduction templates and the course templates along with the instructional videos. Very quick and easy, like 5-minute videos that help you do exactly what Michelle walked through today so that you could be your own designer right out of the gate. Now, if you wanted, so that's package number one. Package number two is the templates along with the videos and 5 hours of our consulting time, and it can be spread out, but it would be a way for us to help you perhaps take your training and revise it to transition it into more e-learning. If you needed a little kickstart, a little help from us, then that's that second package. And we're doing this introductory program to help folks transition their classroom training to virtual learning. And so we would love to hear from you. If we can help you, please reach out to us. And
You forgot to tell them about the discount.
yes, so sorry. Thank you, Michelle. And because you all attended today, we're offering a 20% discount on the packages. And absolutely. So if you're interested, please contact me. This is really a quick way to get some of your training organized so it could be a course and ultimately try using it to be a stepping stone to go into your learning management system.
All
And
right. So with that said, I want to let you guys know, I want to drag over here Lori's website here. You can watch the video that was in the video that I started to play for you inside the e-learning that had the kind of cool logo that said cobblestone. I didn't get to play the whole video for you, but if you want to head over to cobblestoneconsulting.com, you can take a look at it there, because it may just inspire you to start doing some of your own videos. And then of course, Lori's email address is right there.
yeah, so Michelle, great job. And we
Thank
really
you.
appreciate everybody attending today and the wonderful questions. We just have a couple minutes here before finishing up. For those who have some additional questions that you might want us to answer, please feel free to throw it in the question box and we'll stick around and answer them. And we, again, for those who attended, we do have the 20% discount. And then, of course, if you have any additional questions, you guys know how to get a hold of me. This recording will be provided to folks following the webinar today. So again, thank you all very, very much. We appreciate your time and look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Well,
Let's
if there's no other
see.
questions,
There are
is
a
there?
couple of
Oh,
questions
a couple.
actually.
Oh, okay, sure.
Let's see. The question is, have you made e-learning videos for corporate organizations using PowerPoint templates? And that answer is yes.
Absolutely.
So we make them as the start in the PowerPoint templates, but then we do bring them in to Articulate to make sure that they have the interactivity.
Right. It's developed in PowerPoint, uploaded into Storyline. Articulate and Storyline is the same thing. And not always, I didn't always do that. The presentational type videos, meaning there's not necessarily a quiz at the end, for example, can all be done in PowerPoint. You don't need any other tool for that. If you need some kind of a quiz, for example, to test their knowledge at the end, you can either use Camtasia or Storyline or Captivate and add those quizzes, or you can send them to quizzing websites that just like there could be a link at the end where they have to go to this particular website and take a quiz, or go to your LMS or however, somewhere in your LMS where you have a quiz. So yeah, that's the only difference. But actually, PowerPoint has pretty much everything you need. I mean, right in it. Most people don't really think about how fantastic it is to create videos out of. People just think about it for static presentations. Was there one more
There was
question,
one
Lori?
more, and there was one about asking if we'll have another video on how Articulate can help with e-learning, and we are talking about that. So thank you, Crystal. We'll get back to you on that. That does make that makes sense. So stay tuned for that. And then there's another question about are there cost savings that could help the company realize savings in the long run uh, when they invest in these solutions? And absolutely, if you think about it, to organize an e-learning and develop it and get it into the hands of the learning management system or your customers or your employees, it's quite a lengthy process. So having this program and templates and getting trained where you can do a repeatable process, you can start getting that information out. And it's as you continue to go through, you save time, you deliver speed to market and speed to customers, and then of course you save costs because you're leveraging a methodology that's already available.
Already proven. And
Mhm.
I was wondering if her question also she may also be asking what's the benefit to do e-learning in general besides as opposed to live classroom training. Of course, those are multitudes of reasons. You're obviously saving a lot of money in travel. You're not taking people away from their job site. They can take it on when they have some time, a lesson here, a lesson there in between meetings. You're getting a consistent message in e-learning. You're getting your very best content in there. So you don't have all kinds of different uh, live trainers saying conflicting different things. So you have the one
Right.
message, and yeah, so there's many reasons to move over to e-learning. Those were
Yep.
just a few. If you ever did a search that said e-learning versus live classroom training, you would see there's about 20 20
Very
benefits.
good. Very good. Well, all wonderful questions. We really appreciate your participation and we appreciate you joining us today. We appreciate very much. So have a wonderful rest of your day and we will see you soon.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Have a great
Bye.
weekend. Bye.